Peaky Blinders is one of the masterpieces ever made in terms of acting. This video we will analyze a very special scene which shows us two different types of dominance and masculinity. Oswald Mosley dominates the room completely.
Arthur.
He can't even beat Arthur Shelby in a physical fight. However, how he did worse than beating him. And Tommy, we used to see him confident and always in control even when there's a gun to his head. But how did Mosley manage to stress him out so badly? You will not just learn how he did this. You will also learn the meanings of some common gestures that you come across in real life and some of the conversation strategies that manipulators often do like Mosley always does. Enjoy watching.
By order of the Peaky Blinders.
Now, even before they get into the room, war has started.
So, what's the strategy? You can smile, you don't smile.
Michael, you sit. Arthur, you stand by the window.
Tommy wants to create a friendly atmosphere by instructing Michael to laugh and sit him at the next chair, which Mosley will sit on. In business context, smiling shows a conciliatory attitude and makes the other party trust you. And it tells Arthur not to smile and wait at the window behind the chair which Mosley will sit on later. It's just something he did to put psychological pressure on Mosley. Everyone knows that the family savage monster, aggressive big dog, is Arthur Shelby. And by positioning him behind Mosley, Tommy aims to make Mosley feel under pressure and threatened at any moment. Because there's an interesting psychological fact that Tommy is aware of. Listen guys, researchers reveals that when our backs are towards an open space, we become more stressed as our body reads itself in an evolutionary sense for possible attack from behind. Before thousands of years, our ancestors had to turn their backs to the graze wall to prevent sneak attacks from predators while they are sleeping. Those who didn't do it couldn't survive, and those who did it passed this instinct to the next generations. That's why instead of standing in the middle of an elevator or a room, we go to the corners and lean on our backs to the wall. Tommy knows this, and putting the family's big dog in the space behind Mosley is a genius idea.
So, who we meet?
You see, Arthur touched the chair. As we said in our previous videos, touching means claiming. People tend to touch what they have or have claim on.
Hello, boys.
Wow. You're the captain?
Now guys, imagine your friend bought a new car and wants you to take a picture. How do you think he would pose? Probably sit on the car, put one hand on the hood, etc. But why? Because it belongs to him. That's a way of showing your superiority and your ownership. And also, it doesn't always have to be an object. Sometimes people can claim other persons. This is the reason why lovers put their arms to each other's shoulder when they are walking or holding each other's hands. They want to show to the society that he or she has a claim on the other.
Who we meet? The man we're about to meet is the Minister for the Duchy of Lancaster. He is also Deputy to the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Arthur tilts his head as Tommy starts to speak. It's a universal sign of being focused. Small detail, but very good acting.
The man we're about to meet is the Minister for the Duchy of Lancaster. He is also Deputy to the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Look at Michael's hands fidgeting as Tommy talks about who they are about to meet. It's a common sign of being nervous. And look at how he looks at Arthur for a short time. This type of looking to the superior ones happens when inferior people start to feel insecure. Here's an example of looking to the superior one.
You do well to remember that, you little monster.
Oh, I'm a monster. Perhaps you should speak to me more softly then. Monsters are dangerous, and just now kings are dying like flies.
After Tyrion threatens the king, including the king himself, everyone looks at the person who is superior and stronger in the room because they are just shocked and they felt insecure. They don't know what to do at that moment. Back in this scene, Michael is insecure, nervous and anxious, and that's why he looks at Arthur like a kid who's checking his parents if they are there to protect him in danger, just like Joffrey did to his grandfather here earlier.
And cabinet advisor to the Prime Minister of Great Britain.
Tommy leans back and takes the power seat, and his hands are clenched. This is a common sign of aggression, frustration and readiness to attack. But don't think it's too much. As frustration and aggression increases, the clench gets higher and higher.
To the Prime Minister of Great Britain.
Here's a little mouth shrug. Actually, its meaning changes depending on how the person combines it with other gestures according to the context. However, I can tell you that it's a sign of feeling powerlessness and helplessness towards tough situations here. After Tommy is describing the man they're about to meet, Arthur starts to feel insecure a little bit just like Michael, but he acts it out in a different way. Alright guys, after this moment, things will get a little more excited.
You both met bad men before. The man we're about to meet is the devil.
Now, here are 4 things that we should spot.
You both met bad men before. The man we're about to meet is the devil.
Look at how heavily he breathes. Now, when you're watching this video, I want you to pay attention to your breathing. It's probably pretty normal. Why? Because you're in your comfort zone. But when you feel nervous, scared, excited, or basically out of your comfort zone because of the events that is going on, you start to breathe heavily because your body prepares you to fight by allowing more oxygen to fill the muscles when you feel out of your comfort zone. But that's not always the case. Sometimes you may need to breathe heavily to calm yourself because it activates the parasympathetic nervous system and calms you down.
The man we're about to meet is the devil.
Second thing is, look at how heavily he's fidgeting his thumbs. Fidgeting is one of the most common gestures that you can observe in real life, and it's a response to anxiety or boredom. People tend to fidget when they feel nervous because the body has just increased the levels of stress hormones, which are preparing your muscles for sudden exertions. And at that moment, if you don't have any monster to run away from, all that energy has nowhere to go, and fidgeting your thumbs, legs or biting your nails is just some ways to partially relieve that.
The man we're about to meet is the devil.
Third thing is, look at how his eyes are darting all over the place. Now listen carefully, because that's important. I know it may seem like he's checking around the activity, but the reality is, darting means that the brain searches for escape routes. People, and not just humans, even apes and monkeys, tend to dart when they feel nervous or discomfort, or when they're in danger or about to do something dangerous, to make sure that they have a route to escape if it's necessary. You may ask yourself, wait, what? Is Tommy Shelby scared? I know it sounds ridiculous if we talk about Tommy Shelby especially, but yes, guys, he is. And here's the fourth and last thing.
Yep. Send him in.
Look at how fast he moves.
Yep. Send him in.
You don't usually see confident people like Tommy acting reactive and fast. They are always confident and moving slowly. They do not look scared or react in a rush, even if they have a gun to their head.
There are other ways of carrying out this mission. Please allow me put a bullet in this scum tinker's head.
Or they do not walk fast even if their places are attacked.
I said, is there any man here named Shelby?
Gotta give these men a drink. Everyone else go home. Said you wanted men called Shelby. You've got 3 of them.
But why? Because being in a rush shows everyone that you are insecure and scared. You have to hurry because there's something that makes you nervous and panic. Moreover, when people see that you are in a rush because of something, especially your enemies, they consider that your reason for being in a hurry is your weak point. Here's an example by both Finn Shelby and Tommy Shelby, almost in the same situation.
I like fucking Everything. I'm alright. She fired into the ceiling.
When they got a gun to their head, Finn almost pissed himself and showed his enemy that he had a hard time with handling that.
What the fuck is going on?
Finn, we are conducting a piece of business.
She had a gun to my fucking head.
Get your trousers are dry. You didn't piss yourself. He didn't piss himself off.
Well done, Finn.
On the other hand,
They say that I shot you already, right? In the fucking face.
Tommy was absolutely unreactive. You don't want to show your weak point to your enemies by acting fast or in a hurry. They would kill you already if they want. So, you should be slow like a boss who is confident and believes in his ability to handle what's going on currently. Back in this clip.
The man we're about to meet is the devil.
Tommy acts so much out of his character. He displayed every possible gesture of feeling stressed, frustrated and bored. Let's continue.
Yep. Send him in.
He gives a big breath to take control over his body and continues to dart. Signs of being nervous again. Here's a bonus. You can try to take control of your breathing when you're stressed or feeling nervous. Breathing heavily is a reflection of the change in hormone levels experienced in your body at that moment. And by taking control of this, it's possible to reverse the effect and bring your hormone levels back to a normal to a certain amount. Because when you adjust your body language, your psychology will match to it. For example, if you prioritize your comfort in a stressful situation, your psychological mood will have an impact on your emotional mood and your body will try to match it.
Wow. This feels good.
Yep. Send him in.
Right here is the first example. Arthur conveyed his nervousness and he took a deep breath too. You probably heard the saying, stop and take a deep breath before. And that was what I was talking about. As he breathes, his forehead wrinkles are gone. He's just relaxed a little bit. Of course, we can't tell if he did it on purpose or not, but it definitely helped him. And you can try to do the same thing in stressful situations. Now, notice how Mosley confidently looked down on Arthur and made him break eye contact and bow his head. We told you that raising the chin indicates feeling superior. And on the contrary, bowing your head lowers your chin and it's a sign of accepting other people's power and authority over you. For example, let's have a look at this scene and see both of them.
But for every man we lost, the Lannisters...
We need our men more than Tywin needs his!
For context, Edmure is the uncle of Robb. However, when Robb yells at Edmure,
We need our men more than Tywin needs his!
he raises his chin and Edmure breaks eye contact and looks down by bowing his head, meaning accepting his authority over him. You do it subconsciously when you feel inferior because your body wants to protect the most important area of your body, and it's your throat.
Necklace, oriental pearls, diamonds, a flawless ruby, hardly the gems of governance.
Now here's important. Of course, everyone knows that Arthur would whoop his ass in a fight. I'm sure Mosley knows that too. But why did Arthur feel insecure subconsciously? Because Mosley knows that his titles, his name, run into the room before himself and put them under psychological pressure. Michael's fake smile as Tommy ordered.
You can smile. You don't smile.
And Tommy's eye lock technique.
I never seem to get to meet you without your family.
Notice how he takes a seat even without asking. This is a simple but extremely important thing. Now please listen carefully and think about the last time you attended an invitation as a guest. Whether it's a home or a place on the outside, wherever you went. When you arrived there, probably the inviter took the lead, showed you the way, and told you where to sit to make you comfortable. This is a very common habit that you can observe in talk shows or at the politicians' meeting. But why do people do this on purpose or not? Because this move, this "you can sit here" move, shows everyone that the one who shows the way is the one who holds power and who is in charge at that moment. And the one who sits where it is shown is the one who is inferior. Here's an example of showing the way and taking the lead from Alfie.
Seems so.
Well, you're a brave lad, ain't you? You want to take a look at my bakery?
And here's another example from Tommy.
Morning, Alfie.
Yeah, it is. It is. How come everybody's in fucking bed?
So, this must be Goliath. Let me introduce you to David. This way, boys.
I never seem to get to meet you without your family.
Mosley is aware of that, so he took a seat like it's his own place without a station, like he's the one who holds power and who is in charge there. Also notice how confident he looks and walks, like so sure about himself. Just pure confidence.
I never seem to get to meet you without your family.
Now he set the tone of the conversation with a little bit of an aggressive comment, and on top of that, he uses strong eye contact too. He looks Tommy directly in the eye, which is a sign of threatening. Pay attention that he doesn't break it even when he's sitting. His overall aura is quite powerful and aggressive, even if it doesn't match with his look and sound. And because of this, instead of an open war, it just creates a serious mythic atmosphere that is open to discussion.
I never seem to get to meet you without your family.
Notice the way of his sitting. He crossed his legs as soon as he sat there. People often tend to do it when they want to put a barrier with the person, but some other times, because it's a learned behavior that morphs into habit. The act of crossing legs can be seen as a power move by politicians or business owners when they are meeting.
I never seem to get to meet you without your family.
He also tilted his head. That means he's focused and waiting for Tommy's answer.
I understand you know a man called Jimmy McCavan.
Here comes the first verbal war strategy from Thomas.
I never seem to get to meet you without your family.
He tries to refuse Mosley's frame by not reacting to him.
I understand you know a man called Jimmy McCavan.
So instead of answering back in a passive or aggressive way, it just really doesn't matter. He tries to reframe the situation.
I never seem to get to meet you without your family.
I understand you know a man called Jimmy McCavan.
He basically says, I will not buy this. And this is an important one that I suggest you to learn immediately. Listen guys, if you don't buy what they are selling, you don't have to worry about it.
Do not ask me a question like that. I'm not biting. I refuse your question.
Why?
Because I refuse your question. I'm not your slave and you're not my master. And I'm saying I refuse.
Okay, well no, I was just asking you why, that's fine.
For example, many politicians and business owners does this. Here's an example from Trump.
Again, I know you're trying to build up your energy, Jeff, but it's not working
one at a time.
Yeah. Look.
He didn't even care what Bosch said. If he would have been in trouble. I hope you got the importance of accepting or refusing other people's frames. Stop reacting them like you are the inferior. Instead, refuse their frame and make them react to you. Just like you are the one who knocks.
I am the one who knocks.
I understand you know a man called Jimmy McCavan.
Michael is fidgeting here. That means he's nervous as expected.
May I take a cigarette?
Finally, verbal warfare has started. Mosley used one of Tommy's favorite tricks.
May I take a cigarette?
It's called state-breaking questions. Simply, it's a trick that makes you able to change topics or redirect the conversation in a way you want. Here's an example of Tommy is using it.
Sit. Talking to you, Mr. Shelby. So the Oddfellows want you to know that any deviation from your instructions will have consequences.
What's your dog's name?
Violent men are the easiest to deal with.
So tell me, which brand of rebel are you, eh?
Fun's over, Nolan Booth. Give me the bag, turn around, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest.
Okay. Where'd you get that jacket? It's a statement piece. Somewhere there's a very nude cow whispering, "Worth it."
Back in this scene, Mosley does the same as Tommy. He refuses Tommy's frame.
I understand you know a man called Jimmy McCavan.
May I take a cigarette?
Now, in such important, unusual or sensitive conversations, most of the time, the superior ones lead the conversation. They tend to ask and wait for answer in return.
Girl, where are you from?
Maidenpool, my lord.
And who are the lords of Maidenpool? Remind me.
House Mouton, my lord.
Because they are there to get what they want. And the inferior one tends to answer them back quickly as a display of insecurity and accepting their frame, their authority over themselves. You may find yourself wondering whether to answer the question depending on the person who asks it. You can dodge a question that comes from your little brother. However, if your father is the one who asks, you answer him back. It's because of the social hierarchy between you and the other person. But most of the time, state-breaking question technique can be applied without hesitation.
I understand you know a man called Jimmy McCavan.
Look at Tommy sitting, leaning his back with a wide out and spread body language, like he's the boss who holds power there.
I understand you know a man called Jimmy McCavan.
And asks his question with a strong eye contact, with frowning eyebrows and nodding his head, just like a judge who is far more authoritative.
I understand you know a man called Jimmy McCavan.
May I take a cigarette?
A mud truck here meaning like, I don't know, I have nothing to tell you about this.
Hey, Frank, get in line. That one stretches around the block, too. All right.
People do this when they feel they don't know what to say. And most of the time, shoulder shrug supports mouth shrug and creates this image that I believe you are familiar with.
I understand you know a man called Jimmy McCavan.
And he broke eye contact first. It's clear that he doesn't want to answer this and accept this frame.
May I take a cigarette?
So he breaks the situation with an out-of-topic question and looks for reframing his power situation in the room.
May I take a cigarette?
Please.
Look how Tommy's one eyebrow is lifted. It has a lot of different meanings, but with this context, I can tell you that it's a sign of being confused and surprised. People often raise their one eyebrow when they are confused or surprised by something, and this will be more likely right after something confusing or surprising happened or said. Here's another example by Tommy.
He researches his enemies. That's why he's been chosen.
May I take a cigarette?
Please.
Now, Tommy is aware of what Mosley is trying to do. He tries to take charge of the conversation, but he's surprised a little bit because of Mosley's question. Like, what else he can say? No, you can't smoke here, or what? So he had to give the permission. Score goes to Mosley here.
May I take a cigarette?
Please.
Michael is fidgeting. Notice how he takes his time here. He's not rushing like he's shy and in a hurry. He's displaying a lot of pure confidence here. And this move is massive disrespect. We are gonna get there in details later.
Who on earth is Jimmy McCavan?
One lifted eyebrow again. Mosley is lying and confused obviously. He tries to find a way to dodge the question.
Who on earth is Jimmy McCavan?
Over the last 12 months, you've been making approaches to various men across the country.
And on the other hand, look at Tommy. Remember how nervous he was
The man we're about to meet is the devil.
before Mosley's entrance into the room. But now,
Over the last 12 months, you've been making approaches to various men across the country.
he's looking completely opposite. Don't get it wrong, he's still nervous, but he acts like he's the superior one.
Over the last 12 months, you've been making approaches to various men across the country.
He raises his both eyebrows with the combination of palm exposure. This is a universal behavior of humility, compliance, and cooperation. It is used by people who want to be accepted or believed.
They do something to you, Theo. Something that you don't like.
What did you do to my deal?
Nothing.
And we don't do anything illegal whatsoever.
And it carries the message that my hands are clean.
Your hands, you took it right out of my pocket, didn't you?
Whoa, calm down. Yes, okay.
I don't have anything to hide or hurt you, like a gun, knife, whatever else. That's why police officers say to the person they are about to arrest, raise your hands. Showing the palm is usually a compromise and a defensive move.
Over the last 12 months, you've been making approaches to various men across the country who you think might be able to help you in your cause. McCavan is one of these men. He runs the East Glasgow shipyards. He killed an associate of mine. I want to know what your strategy is.
Tommy does this when he's telling what he's thinking, because as I said, he just wants to learn what his strategy is. He's not there to fight because of Mosley killed Tommy's associate.
He runs the East Glasgow shipyards. He killed an associate of mine.
Michael continues to fidget and observe, but as you see, with Tommy taking lead at the conversation, he raised his chin compared to what he was looking like 30 seconds before.
He runs the East Glasgow shipyards.
He started to feel that there is not much power gap between Tommy and Mosley, so he regained his self-confidence.
He runs the East Glasgow shipyards. He killed an associate of mine.
Lip compression here, it has a lot of different meanings that many people don't know. But with this context, I can say it means the most common one, withholding opinions. People tend to compress their lips when they feel stressed or concerned about the topic that is running.
When you open your front door,
hear about the
you're
police.
not some hardened criminal, Walt. You are in over your head. That's what we tell them, and that's the truth.
No, it's not the truth.
They do it subconsciously to keep their mouth shut and prevent telling the things that they don't want to or accept.
He runs the East Glasgow shipyards. He killed an associate of mine.
Not just that, here's a harsh swallow that supports it. Harsh swallowing can be seen in people when they suppress their emotions, because with swallowing reflex, they think that they are swallowing down the suppressed emotions that they want to bury. Basically, it's a move that the body displays to make itself relax and get rid of unwanted thoughts by swallowing them. Incredible acting here.
I want to know what your strategy is.
Here's a finger pointing. It's one of the most common and assertive gestures, and it means accusation and blame, which are common meanings of finger pointing.
I want to know what your strategy is.
Mosley continues to disrespect easily. He didn't even need to move to use ashtray because he knows that he has the power in the room and can damage the place as he wishes, and no one can question it.
I am the cartel, and from now on, you are my mule. You are going to bring my product north. Mierda.
This type of damaging the place is a really massive disrespect that we can see in meetings if there's too much self-confidence or power gap.
That one's your brother, yes?
And again, he refused to buy Tommy's frame and used out of question trick to do that. Of course he knows he's Arthur Shelby, but he has to ask to dodge Tommy's frame.
That one's your brother, yes?
Yes. And I'm his business advisor. We would like to talk business.
Alright, finally we are here, and this is the part that I love the most in this sequence. Michael jumps in, and let's see what happens before we break down.
Yes. And I'm his business advisor. We would like to talk business.
Till here, Michael always observed the situation with curious eyes. And because Tommy looked like he dominated Mosley, Michael found the courage to interrupt them, thinking Mosley is on his level.
Yes. And I'm his business advisor.
Look at his fake smile.
We would like to talk business.
As I said, it creates a friendly atmosphere because in business context, smiling creates a positive impression and means being ready to collaborate. But as we know, and as we saw that Tommy ordered it, it's just a mask. However, we could see it from here too if we didn't know.
We would like to talk business.
Clenched jaw. People tend to clench their jaw when they feel anger, frustration, stress, or tension. Michael's smile is just a mask that he puts on to not show his stress.
We would like to talk business.
Michael Gray. You lost all your cousin's money in America playing the fool.
And this is where he got destroyed. Mosley told him that, I know what you did, how bad you are at business, you are a fool, so just shut your mouth and stay away from this. This is out of your league. And he even goes, which is a common sign of disappointment.
A nightclub in Detroit called the Gladiator is your regular? You lost the money and found a wife there.
Look at Michael's face. All that fake friendly mask is gone. With his frustration and suppressed anger, he would have smashed Mosley on the spot if he could. Here are squinted eyes. Squinting eyes can be associated with displeasure in this context. People tend to do it when they don't like the things they are conveying at that moment.
A nightclub in Detroit called the Gladiator is your regular? You lost the money and found a wife there.
Michael hates every second of this conversation. Or should I say humiliation? He definitely felt that way because here he raises up his chin. Don't get it wrong, he doesn't display superiority here. This is where the importance of context comes in the most. Normally, yes, it's a power move you display when you feel superior. However, in the context of humiliation, it means changes in restoring your honor and pride. It indicates that the person is attempting to maintain his self-esteem and project an image of confidence.
You lost the money and found a wife there.
Mosley is not over yet. He also attacks Arthur.
And poor old Arthur Shelby, standing there at the window, is afraid his wife will never return.
Before waiting, Arthur's interrupting them. Clenched fists again.
My spies tell me she's been seen with another man.
Arthur.
Look at the face of Arthur. Every cell of his body is boiling with anger inside.
Arthur.
And a lip compression. I told you that lip compression is a move that people do to prevent them from saying the things that they don't want to and keep those things hidden. Don't think it's a move to prevent just telling something. People also do that when they withdraw their actions. Arthur is holding himself back really hard to not punch Mosley there.
My spies tell me she's been seen with another man.
Arthur. Esquisse yourself well.
A sneering here, it's a sign of intense disgust, aggression and anger.
And bingo.
And this is the moment that Mosley showed everyone that he's the one who is in charge in the room. He dominated them to show them their place, knowing that they have nothing they can do to Mosley, even if he humiliates them as he wishes.
20 seconds in and I have them speaking their walk lingo.
Tommy knows what he was trying to do. He didn't show him any sign of frustration, stress or anger, even if Mosley came here with the blood of an associate of Tommy in his hands. But Michael and Arthur are just out of their league obviously, as they reacted to him as he predicted.
20 seconds in and I have them speaking their walk lingo.
A full of smile, like a power demonstration after all the things that happened earlier. Mosley wanted to keep it short and dived straight into the topic. Actually, this is another power demonstration. He showed everyone their place and what he is capable of, and then just cut off the fun. Like he's an adult that can humiliate them all the day, but has no time and desire for child's play.
Mr. Shelby, I do have plans. I will have need of men like you. Except, of course, there is no other man like you. You, in particular, I need.
Again, with talking about Tommy in particular, he humiliated the other two.
But please, don't imagine I would trouble myself with turf wars. You have many enemies. Shuffle the pack and pick another card.
A deep breath here, Tommy feels stressed. He knows he's outplayed and outpowered by Mosley, but still tries to keep his non-reactiveness.
That investigation of the dead journalist, the queer, I've made that go away. Read it and come back to me. Next time, bring only an open mind and a cigar to celebrate our union.
Mosley is so sure about himself. He orders him to bring a cigar, even though he knows he has no other choice but to accept it to demonstrate power again, and basically tells him to stop this bullshit he set up before Mosley's entrance. He was fully aware of what was going in the room.
Next time, bring only an open mind and a cigar to celebrate our union.
And another serious disrespect. He doesn't give a shit about where he is at, who is the owner of the room, etc. He knows he is the strongest. The second after Mosley leaves the room, everyone drops their masks that they are tired of carrying during the meeting. Tommy gives a breath like, gosh, finally it's over. Here's hunched shoulders. How many times have you heard shoulders back, head straight? You know that this displays confidence and power with taking up more room and look bigger as an individual. Even Tommy always walks with spread arms and wide open body. However, in this moment, because of the effects of the earlier event, he feels insecure. He portrays low confidence here. People tend to appear smaller by hunching shoulders, pulling arms close to the body and tucking head in to protect the throat. A fully defensive and inferior looking by Tommy. Michael gets up a cigarette as soon as possible to relax and relieve the stress. And poor Arthur is about to explode because of anger. Forehead wrinkles, it has many meanings, but it means focus, frustration and stress here. Tommy wasn't expecting this meeting to go so badly this way. Lip licking and fidgeting. He's in deep stress right now.
What the fuck was that all about, Tom?
And Arthur, I think what is going on through is just obvious.
Arthur, do not let them get inside your head. It's exactly how these people work.
Who the fuck are these people?
Rubbing eyes, sign of stress and discomfort again. It's the superior form of squinting eyes. Both serve the same purpose. When people hear words that they don't like or are exposed to situations that they don't like, they may tend to squint their eyes like Michael and became less witness to events. Like saying, listen, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to see this, I basically don't want to witness this or witness it less. However, fully closing the eyes is just extreme level of squinting it. Tommy disapproves so much that he has to block every light that will make him witness the event, witness the reality. He just don't want to see it. Alright guys, this is it for this video. We have analyzed many gestures that you can come across in real life and explained them in detail. We also explained some conversation strategies that you can apply or can detect when it's applied against you. And yet, if you think that you still haven't learned anything in this video, I hope you had fun and enjoyed the masterpiece acting at least. See you in the next one.